Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Cape Crusader, Cody, and we are keeping it geekly with our returning guest, CJ Hudson. We're here to break down Amongst the Stars anthology and everything in between. And this is interview 300. So, man, excited to get you back on. Excited to get, a Bard on here and break it, things down for our 300th interview. CJ, how the hell have you been since you last been on, man?
Pretty good. God, when was that? Like a month ago?
I want to say it was a month ago, man, and
Yeah.
I forgot how many interviews it was. Things are blurring by at this point.
Yeah. We were talking Bearer of Ages, and appreciate all your help with that. I mean, I think interviews really help getting the word out on things, and was really happy that we hit goal on that and did 119%. So appreciate that.
Wow, man, and not a problem at all. I always love, giving a platform to creators. That's what this is all about. So let's talk a little bit about how that campaign went. Like, towards that tail end, what was some of the things you did that you felt like really kind of helped push it? And how did fulfillment go for you? Or has that yet to start?
Fulfillment's going on right now, actually. So Devin is handling all that. So he's getting everything ready so he can go out to, some con out where he lives, and I can't remember.
I'm gonna be there. Yes, okay, fantastic con in Toledo, because when it was our interview, I remember he told me about it. I was like, no shit, and I looked into it and bought tickets that day.
Yeah, so he's gonna go out there. He's getting everything printed out. So got the exclusive con cover from Rio Burton that he'll be peddling out there along with the other covers. But yeah, I mean, Kickstarters can be a grind, especially if you don't have a ton of followers, you're new, you're just trying to get your name out there. And even with a good amount of support behind this, it can just take a while to get that momentum. But we really hit it towards the last the last week, especially. It took until the last week to get over the hump. But we got some good retweets from some pros out there, which was awesome. Everybody, I think, has their claim to fame with one or two pros that follow them, that they're like, oh man, this is kind of cool. I can't believe they follow me. So it was pretty great to have like Gail Simone and
I seen that. I think yes.
Yeah, and I think Scott Snyder did it too. So it was nice to get that level of support from those guys who thought it was a good looking comic. So appreciate them.
But Bearer of Ages isn't the only thing that you've recently just kind of worked on. You have another awesome title that's coming out soon, Vigia, correct?
Vigia is actually going to be releasing issue 2 in stores tomorrow. So
wow.
We're rocking and rolling with that through Band of Bards. So that's been a lot of fun to work on. Got some great covers. Rodrigo Gill did a cover, and actually Band of Bards co-publisher Chris Benamati, is that how the hell I say his last name? But co-publisher of Band of Bards, his first published work on issue 2 of Vigia. So yeah, we're pretty stoked about that. We were looking for more cover artists, and he was doing a lot of art at the time, and I was like, what do you think, man? And he said, let's do it. So yeah, busted it out, and it's a really cool looking cover.
So what is that comic about? I don't think we really got a chance to really touch base on it last time we talked.
No, we were heavy into Bearer of Ages for sure. Yeah, so Vigia is kind of like an alien archaeology feel. So basically about an archaeologist that crash lands on an alien planet with her AI companion as the only person with her. It's basically an orb that projects a hologram of her species, which is humanoid in nature. She basically looks like a human, but has some elf ears and different colored hair, different colored skin. But crash lands on this planet and discovers, my pitch is a long dead civilization that isn't so dead after all, because all the aliens have somehow turned into flesh-eating zombies on their own, and there's only one thing there that's alive and kicking, and it is another artificial intelligence. Now, whether it's good or bad, you kind of have to go along with the story to figure that out. There's a lot of twists and turns, I think, and you'll kind of come to your own determination of, is the AI so bad after all? Or was it really the aliens that were maybe more bad? I don't know. So I kind of leave that open-ended for people to decide on their own. But yeah, it was a fun series to write. I wrote it a long time ago, and it's just been kind of sitting on the shelf, and finally pitched it to Band of Bards, and they scooped it up.
Man, outstanding. That is such a wild concept. It reminds me, there's this conspiracy out there where it's like civilization gets to a certain point where then it just collapses and it like almost like resets. And we find pieces of it here and there. People like try to assume like that's what the pyramids are from and so forth and so forth. Like what inspired this? Like what type of media were you consuming around this time point when you came up with this idea? This is awesome, man.
It's kind of weird. This was a weird comic that the concept just kind of came to me over time. It really started with the visual to the first cover, the alternative cover, where Ghazal, the main character, is walking with her AI companion and she's looking over her shoulder in this kind of barren world. Like there's nothing spectacular about it. It looks like a moon almost with just some rocks and things around. And there's a couple of suns in the background. And I was like, there's a story here, like, something that I can build off of this. It just seemed like a really subtle, cool story. And I really wanted to tell a story where there wasn't a lot of characters, where it was more kind of like a singular person, I almost thought. But then I was like, there has to be some interaction. And then I was like, well, could it be that there's this alien AI? And then I was like, well, she needs somebody to talk to too a little bit. And so I was like, 3 is perfect. 3 like people. And really it kind of plays at friendship a little bit. I mean, I say all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's really like, it's really about the friendship that this AI and this archaeologist have formed. So I don't know. It's like, it's kind of heartening in that sense too. But I think it's a fun read. Everybody that's read it so far has told me they've enjoyed it. So that's kind of nice to hear. And we were up against some good competition too in like Coins of Judas from Band of Bards, which is a great comic from Travis Gibb. And yeah, so it was definitely fun to see that out on the shelves, especially after having it be in development for so many years.
That's so awesome. So issues 2 coming out tomorrow. What's the best way for people to get that and support you the best? Is it get it from their local comic store, or is there a storefront?
Local comics, Bard Shop, 2 best ways that you can get it. So yeah, Bard Shop has everything. They also have some exclusives on there. So the alternative cover also has kind of a holographic cover to it too. There's a limited supply of those, so you can get that on Bard Shop. And then comic shops are carrying it as well, so get out there and scoop it up if you want. I think the cover to issue 2, the variant by Chris, is really great, and I love the standard edition cover by Rodrigo Gil too, with Ghazala just staring at these 2 giant Centurion robots. So that's kind of fun.
No, that is so awesome. Real quick, we have a Geek Collective over on YouTube stopping up to say, what is up, peoples? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing, Geek? I think it's Joey, so welcome to the stream if it is Joey. If not, welcome whoever you are. We're here with our good friend CJ, breaking down, we're actually getting right to it, the anthology that just came out, Amongst the Stars. This is one hell of a heavy hitter. Man, what, 14 stories, 40 creative people involved?
Yeah. 14 creative teams, 110 pages of content.
Wow.
So most people submitted around a 10-page story. So most of the stories are 10 pages long. I did a curator's story, 2 pages long, and then there's a couple other smaller ones in there. But it was an open call submission originally that Elise Russell and I came up with. The concept of kind of this mashup of stories with sci-fi and romance, and then we built a whole webpage and did an open call for submissions and got some amazing talent. And I talked about this yesterday on Blake's Buzz, where you're typically going to get like a bell-shaped curve of talent, right? Like that submit. Some people that aren't quite ready yet, or maybe don't have everything they need to submit. Maybe the story's not quite right, or maybe the art isn't quite right. And then, a lot of people that are pretty good, and then just freaking outstanding stuff on the far side. I really think we shifted closer to most of the stories were pretty awesome with really great art. So it made it really difficult. We had 140 submissions to start. So we whittled that down and did it by like a semi-finalist and a finalist sort of way, so that way we could get it down. And it was tough to go through, but we We got some names in there too, like Carolyn Leelane from Money Shot submitted a story, and I about lost my mind because I'm a huge fan of Money Shot, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What the hell is she doing submitting to my anthology?"
We got
uh,
Geek Collective saying that's me, so it is Joey. Great creators throughout. Yes, yes. I think I actually typed up a little thing on Substack too. A lot of people we've like interviewed on the show in the roster too, like Fellhound, and then Ben. Is it Humanic?
Yep, Humanic. Yep,
Humanic.
he's in there. Yeah, quite a few people from that Phoenix Comic Collective, which we didn't even realize until after the fact. We're like, holy crap! Like half of these people are from the Phoenix Comic Collective, which is kind of a group of creators that you're sure you're probably familiar, like Doug Wood and Brent Fisher. And really great creative talent, and it just shows because they all got picked basically for this anthology. But yeah, we actually invited Fel and Brent. They're the only invited contributors. They were the original ones, and we basically were going to build the anthology around them. So they were the first ones that we said, do you guys want to partake in this? You're in regardless, and we're going to kind of spotlight you and try to get everybody else to submit, and we'll build the best talent that we can. And that was a really fun idea, I think, because it showed people that we were serious and that we had some good people backing it up. And I'm a huge Fellhound fan, just a phenomenal artist, really good person. And Brent is just a really great writer and a good dude. So
I want to say Brent lives really close to me too.
Really?
I want to say if I remember seeing he's from Ohio.
I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So small world, but both awesome creators. Fellhound, if you want to cry, definitely those are the comics that you want to read. What was, what made you want to pick those two creators out of everyone? What like kind of drove you to them?
Elise was really big fans of theirs, and she thought that it would be a good idea. And honestly, I am too. It was not a hard sell to say, like, why don't we get just one team of invited contributors? And the curators, Elise and I said we could each do a story if we wanted to. I decided to do one. Elise may do one if we hit a stretch goal. And then everyone else, we just thought we'd open it up, and it really could have been a lot of different people, but they're such pros. We knew they'd deliver. They have great followings. It just made a lot of sense.
So what was some of that checklist that you went through when finding which stories worked? I mean, having 140 people submit, I mean, shoot, you could have made this like such a huge book. Like, so what was kind of like, I guess, like your Bible that you stuck to that, you're like, these are the type of stories we're looking for?
Man, that's a good question. It's hard because everything, once you got to that final round, it wasn't even a matter of, is the story or the art any good? It was a matter of, do they complement each other? Do these stories all fit together? And do we have anything that's redundant that we've already kind of done? So once people made it to that, and that's what I told some of the people that outreached me that actually were interested in feedback, because we told everybody that submitted whether they made it or not, and I said more than happy to provide feedback if anybody wants.
Man,
people took me up on it. Not very many, a handful.
Was that hard?
Some of them were really good, and honestly, I told them what round they made it to, and I said you were a finalist. So honestly, it wasn't that your story was any bad. Or not good enough. It's literally that we had something similar, and it complemented what we were trying to do more. And then some people they needed to do a little bit of work. Like they didn't make it to a later round, and it was largely because either the art was not ready for prime time. That when I have an anthology or I see a comic, and there's a wide range of art styles, right? But that art has to be ready to be printed. And some artists just weren't quite there yet. It wasn't visually captivating to be printed in that sense. Or the opposite, where the art looked good, but people submitted a Bible instead of a quick pitch to me and Elise. And I was like, I don't need to read the history of the world or anything like that. So this is
like you're only getting 10 pages, like, right?
Yeah. So, and that was really challenging. And I told them, I said, you have to submit something really concise in this to sell it to me. And then if you submitted the script along with it, which wasn't required, but a lot of people did, I'll read the whole script then, and I'll get a better sense. But you kind of gave me the whole script in this huge format, and it was just a little challenging. And it's not to say that the story wasn't good. but it was just really, it wasn't exactly what we were looking for. So there's a lot of that stuff. But not everybody took me up on it. I wish more people did, because I like to provide feedback and want to help people do better. Not that I'm like, the end all be all to knowing what talent is, but I felt like I had a decent idea of what they could do to improve on their submission.
No, that is awesome. And Tim sent me 4 of the stories from Amongst the Stars: Attempt 1623, Higher Calling, Rejection, and The Long Meadow Road, which is a silent story. And I could definitely tell that your guys' process, I mean, it clicks. These stories that I've read, like, all fit that bill, where they all kind of mesh together. They have the same, kind of vibe that kind of draws them in. And it is amazing work. It is like, your story is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And I love to, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm kind of trying to dance around it, but just the way that, you took your 2 pages and you utilized them to their full maximum was just brilliant.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. It was almost kind of sad to cover up Sid Mills' work, because she's just an amazing artist. So I was like, oh man, like, this is gonna feel weird to write on it. But at the same time, it's really nice to have this be her first comics work that we're
gorgeous
there into the ether, even if it's just 2 pages, and working with Taylor, who's just, probably one of the most popular letterers out there. I was tweeting today that it feels like a major highlight in a short career for me to work with 2 really capable people like that. But yeah, I mean, there's just no shortage of talent. Doug Wood did a great story, silent, and Ikta, who did the art, is just fantastic. And yeah, I mean, Damien is killing it out there doing Worlds Away. So Higher Calling is a prequel to that. So if you're a fan of Worlds Away, you'll get that story in this anthology. Yeah, like I said, Carolyn Lee Lane did a story with Rachel Suze, and I mean, there's just a lot. Tango, who's a phenomenal artist, is actually working with Kevin Smith on a Dark Horse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when I saw that in the solicitations, I was like, holy crap. Like, that's
so
amazing.
You said Doug Woods did The Long Meadow Road?
Doug Wood wrote it. Yeah. It was the last thing he wrote before he went out on his, I'm going to say pseudo retirement, because we don't know if he'll be back at some point.
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
Yeah, I hope he does come back. So he wrote this a year ago. So it'll be, the last thing that he's done to date, and that's really awesome. But I hope it's not the last thing ever. Hopefully he'll come back, because
absolutely,
talk about a writer that knows how to pitch and that likes pitching. His pitch was absolutely perfect. It was the log line, and then it was just this perfect story structure that it just delivered on all fronts. And we didn't blind anything. Doug was really the only one that I kind of knew that followed, but we didn't blind any names or anything like that. But we tried to be really, really thoughtful in who we picked, just because somebody submitted like that maybe we knew we weren't gonna, obviously automatically pick them. But I already knew Doug, and it was really hard not to choose his story.
Yeah,
because it was awesome.
Yeah, no, and he's a phenomenal writer and individual. So yeah, I was just curious about that, because when you said that name, it like clicked. I'm like, wait a minute, like. So wow, how does that feel to kind of potentially have that, like his potential last story like in your anthology? That's a heavy thing.
It's weighty, yeah. It's definitely weighty. I mean, yeah, he's a good guy, and so I just hope it's not the last one. And if it is,
absolutely,
it feels really great to have him alongside all this other talent. I think he's really proud of the story. He was really proud of the anthology. So I'm maybe, once we get him his comps, and he starts feeling better, maybe it'll invigorate him. I don't know, but if
get
not,
the buzz again,
then I'm more than happy to publish his last work.
So I think right now would be a perfect segue. Let's go ahead and pull up the Kickstarter and see what all the hype's about. So we are looking at Amongst the Stars anthology, a 110-page anthology of cosmic love stories told by indie comic creators. This romance sci-fi anthology will get you in the loving mood. Currently at $5,017 of $20,000 goal, with 146 backers and 23 days left to go. Excuse me. Project we love as well, CJ. Congratulations, man. Off to a strong start, it feels.
Yeah, 1 hour, got that, so that was really cool. We were like, "What? 1 hour after launch? That's great." And, a top recommendation on a number of channels for, Kickstarters to back this month, so
Hmm.
that feels really good too, that people are interested in it. So, I'm sure we'll get more momentum here, coming out the gate. Some people are just slow on, contributing, but,
Hmm.
spreading the word is, really helps us. And obviously, even if you can only submit like $1 or something just to help see it through, that would be fantastic. I know not everyone has free money to buy it, but if you believe in the project, if you can tip it, that is awesome as well.
Every penny counts. And right here we
Mhm.
have, I love this cover art. This is from your story. This is gorgeous too. First time for your artist being published. Like this is insane.
Yeah, yeah, really cool. I mean, obviously does a ton of commission work out there, just an amazing fantasy artist. So, I mean, to have something that you can put on your bookshelf with Sid Mill's name on it is really cool. So, very
All
happy with
right.
it. Turned out
So
really well.
once again, 14 stories with a team of nearly 40 creators. I mean, is it hard kind of like managing that many people? Like that
Yeah.
seems like such a lot of hats to be wearing.
Yeah, dude, it's really hard. I mean, it's a challenge. I think particularly because you don't want to let anybody down. So
Yeah.
as curator, I wear, a lot of hats, and really just trying to push this across the finish line. I feel like if it, I know it's going to hit goal, but there's always that thought in the back of your head that if it doesn't, it's more on me. What could I have done differently to get this across? But I feel like I'm doing everything I can to get the word out. So it's definitely stressful, and it's hard to manage a lot of different people. And so I probably won't be curating anything anytime soon again. After this, I need a break.
Let the
And
batteries recharge, rightfully
yes,
so.
yeah, some of my smaller stuff. I mean, I'll still submit to anthologies, but I will not run one for a very long time.
So, how many Kickstarters is this for you?
So this is actually my third Kickstarter that I've ever done. So years ago, I did my own on my own for the self-published version of Interstellar Dust, and it hit 10% of goal. It did awful, but I was nobody. I had no following. I wasn't using social media. I thought that if I just put it on Kickstarter, it looked really good. People would support it, and everybody was like, "Oh wow, this looks really good," but I haven't seen any marketing. So of course, I didn't know any better.
Mhm.
Decided not to revisit Kickstarter. Sent it out to a dozen publishers. Half of them got back to me and said it looks really good, but it's not for us, which is typical. People think that, just because you have something done and it looks good, it might not be for that publisher. They get a
Yeah.
lot of submissions, so doesn't mean they're going to take it. But one said yes. Anarch Press said yes, and we are publishing the first volume of Interstellar Dust in a trade paperback as well. So that'll
Dude,
be out
let's
tomorrow.
go. So don't ever give up, man. Right there's the message. We have a
Yeah.
CK Lawson over on YouTube. Stop it and throw some waving hands. Welcome to the stream. Always a pleasure to see you, CK. So we are looking at the covers of Amongst the Stars. So right here we have cover A.
Yep, we got cover by Rio Burton, fantastic artist. Has done several different covers for me and the band of Bards. So just an absolute pro.
Gorgeous
And
too.
yeah, a lot of people love working with Rio. So if you're needing commission work, hit up Rio.
And then cover
Terry
B.
Suska, yep, also has done some work for me. Did a alternative cover to Vigia #3. Really great person, great artist. Highly recommend her.
And cover C as well.
Yeah, Carolyn Leland is just dynamite. I mean, there's no other way to
Mhm.
describe her. When I saw her work on Money Shot, I was like, I have got to work with her at some point. And I actually had Carolyn do some character designs for me for a
Mhm.
story that I've been working on. I love doing character designs as I'm writing because it kind of helps me, gets me in the zone a little bit. And then later on, I saw that she submitted to this, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's really random," because we
Mhm.
didn't really advertise who was behind the curating of this or anything. And I was like, "That's so random that Carolyn is submitting to this. And then the Bards and I decided that she would be perfect to actually do a cover as well. And obviously she came up with something awesome.
Yeah, killed it. CK Lawson, Rio Burton kills it every time. Yeah, that cover was phenomenal. And so here's another one too. So is this going to be cover, is that D?
We're calling it cover M, and I don't know why we're calling it cover. Maybe from me, obviously legendary cosplayer. We decided that cosplay cover would be a lot of fun, and it fits the vibe perfectly. Mia came up with this whole thing, so it was awesome. We got a couple of different choices that we could have gone with, but this one was the one that we thought was the best.
That's awesome too. Yeah, dude, phenomenal. So right here, let's take a look at some of these samples. Excuse me. We have a list of the stories in here, and there is just a slew of them too. Holy crap.
Yeah, no shortage of great talent. I mean, people will recognize some of these names too across different things that they've worked on, like Lady Tiger. I mean, that's the partial team of Ruination. So there's some really great talent out there that I was like, oh man, like these people are working on comics that I wasn't familiar with, and so now I'm fans of them. Obviously, Ben Humenek is great. He did the Lost in Criterion for it, and he just released Brody Can't Be Broken.
Yep,
really awesome story.
Phenomenal.
So,
yeah,
he's a really good guy and a really talented artist.
And then we have some of these interiors too. So we have a look at All or Nothing. Man, this is gorgeous colors. I love these colors. This is just, I remember the first time I seen it, just being drawn to how much it just pops at you.
Yeah, Tango is phenomenal, and she and Noah and Jack, the colorist, just knocked it out of the park.
And then Attempt 1623 was another gorgeous work. I just loved like the black and white, but the way it was utilized was just phenomenal.
Yeah, and the story behind this one was interesting because Vitaly emailed us and sent this story. It was all done basically, and he said, "Hey guys, I'm in Ukraine. The war just started when we opened up submissions, and I have this story that fits along with your submission guidelines. Would love you to take a look. I don't know what's going to happen. This was during the initial invasion by Russia, so there was a lot of unknowns at that time. And he basically gave us permission and said, if you choose to use this story and I don't make it, you have my permission to just publish it. But obviously go through your whole process. But I looked at it and I was like, I can't not have this story. It's amazing. The dude is just a phenomenal person. He's over there in the Ukraine. And I was like, we have to have this. So all the pages just look phenomenal. Vitaly's a really good talent.
It's absolutely stunning too. I mean, what a heavy, that's a heavy thing too, right? Like the possibility that he might not make it, and then you get, like, he wants you to have the rights to carry the story on. Like, this book is just like filled with such heavy weight to it, man. Like, how could you not back it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And Travis Hill, great writer, great pitcher, just had a great story with the Kari, and a lot of fun. The way he kind of worked out this whole kind of smuggler angle to his story. So yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And then Higher Calling too, which is the prelude to Worlds Away.
Yep, with Damien Becton wrote this, and this was an easy choice too. He got moved to that finalist up into that next round pretty quickly. Great writer and really good guy. Really enjoy his work on Worlds Away, and obviously he's got some stuff with Mad Cave coming out, so he's definitely on the upward trajectory right now.
Yeah, we have him scheduled for Worlds Away. It's coming out with issue 3, I want to say, in the next month or so. So we have him booked for a slot as well. Like I was saying earlier, just so many familiar faces. I was awestruck. I was like, man, I've like interviewed half this roster. This is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's no wonder that you see the same talent kind of popping up over the time. I mean, because they're talented. Like, they're definitely good. And that's not to say that there weren't a number of people that probably are under the radar that could have made it in as well. Like it was that good. That's Linz McLeod, who's just, I mean, an unreal writer, probably one of the best prose writers out there in our kind of like age group. I think if we're all kind of the same age, I don't know, but just really phenomenal story from her, and Miranda, who did the art. Yeah, she's got an awesome style too.
Yeah, this is gorgeous. And then of course we have the Lady Tiger as well.
Yeah, I
Phenomenal.
mean,
Oh my God.
fun pitch. Like this was a great pitch by Katie and Sarah. Just really awesome. And Sarah's portfolio was included, and it's just eye popping. And Katie is a great colorist too, so they knew what they were doing. They knew that Elise and I would have a hard time turning this down. I love folk tales that people reimagine, so that was a great pitch.
And we have Ben's work here, and I love to see he kind of like, because he had his own style with Brody, so it was nice. It's nice to see him kind of break away and do like a different approach with this.
Yeah, he draws kids really well. Like he's got a really fun style. Great writer, great guy. Just can't say enough nice things about Ben. Very easy to work with. So yeah, I'm glad to see him doing well.
So we have just a slew of interiors, guys. Once again, if you're watching, be sure to check out this campaign with us. And if you're able to back, we would love to see that. It is New Comic Book Day. And right here is your work too. I just love how like out of this world it is. For lack of better words, like this is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's kind of the first prose thing I ever wrote, so I was really nervous to put something over there. I was like, well, it has to be, if I'm going to put text to it, it has to be prose. Like it's just not going to work otherwise, from in my mind at least. So I need to get a little flowery with it and try to come up with something. I don't normally do that, so I was really nervous, but I got good feedback from like Elise, who kind of propped me up and said, no, it's good. And Brent read it and said it was good. So, so I'm happy to hear that, because if people hated it, I'd probably never try it again.
So, I mean, like this, like the level of trust you had to have had with your artist, like, because there's no way in my head, like, how could you easily describe this scene to your artist? Like, be like, this is what I want. Like how did that work? Did you just let him? Yeah.
I drew it out with stick figures, and I said, here's the idea. It's gonna like, it's 2 panels on each page to really let the art pop. But I'm open to ideas, and Sid's such a pro, sends different options with each page along, so I could really get a sense of what I imagine, because with stick figures it's hard, but this is basically the layout that I described, but the interaction might be a little different. Like the explosion there was a couple of different options. Like one, she kind of pushes him away more, they're closer together, but this one felt more dramatic, so that's what we went with.
Wow, just absolutely gorgeous. And all of these, of course, having a space theme, so why the focus on the space theme? What did you come up with that idea first, or?
Yeah, that was the first thing that I kind of came up with the mashup. Elise and I wanted to do a mashup, and I was like, I love sci-fi. I read a lot of sci-fi. I've read heavy metal on and off for a decade. I read a lot of different humanoids books, and it's like, sci-fi is great. There's a market for it. And then I said, what about romance though too? Because we don't see a lot of romance anthologies. We don't see like romance comics really. I said that would be kind of fun to do that mashup, and it's really anybody's interpretation of what that is at that point, right? It's like, that's the prompt, and show us what you got. But we just thought it'd be fun to do something a little different. And I mean, we had some big name creators I saw tweeting about the project, thinking that they would submit, like Richard Pace, who I was like, oh my God, like if Richard Pace submits to this, that's gonna be very difficult to say, hey Richard, I don't know if this is good enough to make
I know, right?
I was like, so there's gonna be a clear bias there, because I'm a huge fan of your art.
No, that is awesome. So let's take a look at some of these tiers and rewards as well. So for $15, you can get the basic digital collection of this and a name and the credit in the back of the book. At 25 or more, you'll get the deluxe digital. So what's going to be included in the deluxe version?
So the deluxe version is going to have that coloring book included, the trading cards that the Band of Bards designed based off of some of the art that's already been submitted. And then there's going to be a print pack as
Oh, that's
well.
so cool.
Yep, that we're developing. So, I mean, it's definitely a good bang for your buck product if you like, the little added on stuff. So, yeah, definitely a solid tier.
At $5, we have, or $5 more, excuse me, we have the 30 or more physical edition. So you get the physical copy of this. You get that cover A right here. Outstanding price too. You said it was 110 pages.
Yep.
So wow, dude, outstanding price for 110 pages. Couldn't ask for a better deal. And then also you have cover B at 30 as well, cover C. And then, yeah, great prices for your variants too. So, what kind of made you want to stay with keeping it to the same price?
I mean, just because the Enemy cover was a little bit more expensive, that's the one that we thought would be a little bit of an outlier or should be a little bit of an outlier for a cosplay cover. But all the others, we were like, let's just try to make this as inexpensive as possible and try to get people to support it through volume. So that was kind of the thought there. Like, let's just keep all these covers the same. They're all great talents and great individuals. So we were like, let's just kind of let the covers speak for themselves.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have Cupid's combo. So you can get cover A and a stand, a 3D printed stand.
Yep, you can get a stand with it, which is pretty awesome. So I have not seen that done, which, yeah, the guys at Band of Bards were pretty excited about that.
Is there right here? Oh, right here. This is cool.
Yep.
Oh, so you put the comic in the stand?
Yep.
No way. Oh, yeah. That is awesome, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
That's gnarly. And it's 3D printed too, so that is cool. So you can get the cover M physical edition, that is the cosplay one, at $50. We have the retailer pack at $75. This is going to get you 5 copies of that, and then you'll have a choice, it looks like, of cover B, A, B, or C. $85, you can get cover A collection, which is going to include a virgin, a full foil, and then the digital copy and name and the credit of the back, and then B and C as well at $85. So some outstanding prices here, man. What's in this mystery box? So at $100.
That's a mystery, actually. I don't even know. I'll have to ask the Bards on that. That's why I wish Tim was here, because I'm like, wait a minute, what is in that mystery box? But yeah, they're fun. I think they're going to come up with some good stuff.
And we have 100 or more. You get the Bands of Bard anthology collection, cover M collection at 150, 250. You Band of Bards comics for life, so you get a lifetime subscription.
Lifetime for $250. And
phenomenal.
They're dumping a lot of comics out there right now, and they're not going away anytime soon. So this is great pricing to jump on right now.
Absolutely. And then 500 or more, you get the universe. So this sounds like everything in the kitchen sink.
That's it, man. That's everything right there.
Wow, that is phenomenal pricing, phenomenal tiers. A big fan of this stand. That is so cool. I have not seen that, so that is so awesome. And then 1,500 universal singularity of love. What is up with this? What do you get with this tier?
So you only get 2, and you get to choose a one-off Animia cover. There's a exclusive cover that we'll release only to 2 people. So we have the rights to those covers as well. And then obviously you get everything else. You get digital, the PDF packs. So there's just a lot of good stuff in there.
Wow,
it's basically like everything combined.
Outstanding. We have Ichthus stopping in to say what is up. Well, welcome to the stream, Ichthus. Hope you're doing awesome. Right here is the link for everyone that is still watching. Let's go ahead and switch back over to our main screen. So CJ, after going through that campaign, what would you like to say to anyone who might be kind of hesitant about backing? If you just had a few seconds to kind of just address them directly.
I don't think they'll be disappointed. I think that, sci-fi romance, you think about it and you're like, oh, is that something I'm going to enjoy? But I would say click through the campaign, look at the art, and you're going to be impressed. And just follow along with some of these creators, look at their pages, and understand that these are some seriously talented people. Like you're gonna love this anthology. I think that we're getting a lot of good buzz right now. We're on all the top lists to support it this month. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I think Kickstarter and all these people, I think they can sense the buzz about it. So I feel like people should feel really comfortable backing this. And we're 100% going to fulfill it. Band of Bards fulfills everything that they do.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a whole plan around getting that done. So yeah, I would say give it a shot. And even if you don't have the money to buy even the digital version, if you could just submit $1, I would appreciate that. I'm actually going to try to do a little marketing tomorrow around that. Like if you can DM me, that you just even submitted $1, I'll send you some digital comics of some stuff that I've already done.
Smart.
Yep.
I think that is some smart tactics. I mean, you're what, 7 days into it already at a fourth of your campaign. So, I mean, you still got a couple weeks to finish strong. So I think that is a smart move. Outside of the campaign, what's up with the rest of 2023? I know you said you had a new series called Lichen.
Yeah, so that's going to probably be a series of one-shots that we're probably going to release in larger formats. So probably anywhere from like 32 to 50 pages. And yeah, so I have the first issue. Girls Night is the first one-shot that we're going to be releasing. That comes out in March. So Mary Landro did the art on that, and Jerome Gagnon did the lettering. So yeah, it looks really good. I'm excited. It sold really well for the Bards, so that's awesome. We just got the numbers from Diamond, so we're pretty excited about that. Have an alternative cover by Rio Burton that's phenomenal, and standard edition by Mary Landro, the interior artist. So yeah, I'm glad people like it. I'm hoping that it sells out at that retailer level so we can keep telling werewolf stories for people.
And right there, guys, make sure you don't get hit with a silver bullet today. Right there is the previews link to pre-order it today. When's that dropping again?
So that's dropping end of March.
End of March,
the last week.
So be sure to get your pre-orders in today. Now, CJ, you've been on the show before. You know we always love to end this with a bit of advice. And as someone who's just got done reading 140 pitches and going through 140 submissions, what would be your biggest piece of advice for anyone looking to make a pitch for the first time? Like, what do you think is like the strongest factor within a pitch to make it take off?
So make it twofold, I think, is have the log line, which is basically that one, maybe 2-sentence truncated story right there, and captivate your reader with that. And then make your pitch just a little bit bigger beyond that. To captivate me, and then tell me the whole story after the fact, how we got from point A to point B. But I don't need the history of the universe in between. I don't need all the minute details, but the twists a little bit, why people would care about it. I'm at some point, I would honestly like to share, if I can get people to sign off, people's pitches that they submitted and why they were so good, because I think people could learn a lot from them.
Maybe a stretch goal.
Yeah, maybe a stretch goal. That wouldn't be a bad idea, but I would say don't sleep on that log line. Like, get me really interested in a sentence or two, and then perfect that pitch. But if it's longer than, like 4 paragraphs, like that's getting up there. So
are you talking about for the log line or for that second part?
That second part. Yep. Okay. That second part. Log line, 2 sentences. Yeah. Formal pitch, honestly, a couple paragraphs is probably perfect, but think about it old school, like when we were in high school, the hamburger kind of approach to writing a story, right? Like, give me that intro and then sell me on it, and then give me that conclusion at the end. So yeah, that's what I would say, is don't sleep on that, because it can make or break your submission.
No, awesome advice. Absolutely. And I think really kind of selling it hot with the 2 sentences, keep it nice, short and sweet with that log line, because you want to keep people's attentions, right? Like, you want to grab their attention and then you want to sink them. So awesome advice. Thank you for swinging by, CJ, as well. This was kind of short notice, so I was so stoked to get you on, to have you be my 300th guest, and to end this, the day strong, man. So thank you for swinging by once again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone watching, I hope you all have a fantastic Wednesday, but most importantly, guys, Keep it geekly.